guys, this is Anna with Scrapping, Stamping, and Stuff. I have been playing around with our Gilded Leafing coming from our new upcoming mini catalog, and I've been having so much fun with it. I wanted to make a quick video and share with you everything I have learned so far. So I've been playing around with this a ton. I've made probably 10 or so card samples here, but I wanted to share with you what I've learned, how you use it, and just some really neat things I've done with it. So let's talk about what this Gilded Leafing is. It comes in this little jar, and it is basically just gold flakes. You can use it with any types of adhesive. So it doesn't have any adhesive on it, but you can use adhesive and then the gold flakes will attach to it on your project. So let me show you a few examples. And I'm going to make another video talking about all sorts of different ways to use it. So I'm going to explain all of these and how I did them in that video. But here's one. I applied it to embellishments. Here is one. I have our pop-up foam adhesive. It is on. This was a punch I used. Here I actually stamped an image, used our new heat and stick powder to add the gold leafing to this. And I have lots more too. Here was a stencil I used it with. This right here might be my favorite. I applied it to the whole piece and embossed it. Got a few more here with the stripes and the dots. And the last sample I'm not going to show because that's what we're going to work on right here during this video. I want to show you how to use it. So the first thing you need to do to use the Gilded Leafing is apply some adhesive either to paper or to something else you want to apply the gold color to. After you have applied the glue, you're going to apply the Gilded Leafing, and I'll show you some tips with that. So there are so many ways to do this, but I wanted to start with the basics. And I feel like the easiest way to use this Gilded Leafing is to just use some of our multi-purpose glue and add a little bit to accent parts or parts of a project that you want just a little bit of that gold to show up on. Put some of this glue down and just set it aside for a couple of minutes to let it dry. Now, while I was playing around with this, I prepared basically all of my samples with the adhesive, set them aside, and then once I was ready, I applied the Gilded Leafing to all of them, which worked really well. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. Now I'm going to bring in another sample that is already dry. It's going to look a little bit different from the flower. This is a cute little ice cream cone. Now, the products I used on these two that I'm showing you here are the Art Gallery set, one of our new upcoming sets. That's the one I just showed you. And then this one right here is the sweet ice cream set that has a coordinating punch, which I love. So I applied some of the glue to the little hash marks on the cone and also to the sprinkles. So here is my Gilded Leafing. Now, as you notice, it is no longer in the handy little container it came in. When you get it, you're going to want to open it up over top of a larger container. I suggest finding some kind of sealable container like this little Rubbermaid container that has a lid. And you're going to want to leave it in here probably long term. Now this one's a little bit bigger than it would need to be, but I wanted it to be large enough that I could put my projects in it and just be able to contain all the leafing while I was applying the leafing to my project. Okay, so I'm going to take my card with the adhesive on it, and you can do this different ways. You can pick up the leafing and rub it over the surface. You can flip it upside down and apply it this way. But when you put the leafing onto your adhesive, you're going to end up with something that looks a little bit like this, which is not what we're going for. So then you will need to rub away the excess, and your fingers will do a very nice job of this for the most part. But they may not get all of the extra off. Around the edges, a lot of times I'm having extra little bits hang on that I don't really want. So what I found was that some kind of soft brush to rub over top of this works really well. So I actually got a toothbrush, and I have been using my toothbrush to rub gently over this, which does a really good job of getting the extra off. So once I'm done applying this, then I like to hold this over a trash can and give it a good flick with my finger from the back side. So I'm going to do that right now. And once you have done that, it should get all the extra little bits off. So now we have these cute little gold accents on this project. So that's just one way to use it with a multi-purpose glue. But like I said in another video, I'm going to share tons and tons of ways you can use it with other types of adhesives and other materials besides just putting it on paper. So just a few tips that I have picked up on using this gilded leafing. Well, that's not the sample. Here is a finished sample like the one I prepared that is still drying, but I just put the little strips of glue, and I just love the way that turned out. I think it's beautiful. So a few tips for using the gilded leafing. I already mentioned using a large sealable container. I do recommend, if this sounds good to you, I found you will get little tiny flakes of this on your surface and on your hands and places. So I found I just have a damp microfiber cloth that I'm keeping here, and when I get some on my hands, I just rub them on this cloth, and it works really well to pull the little bits of gold off. So that's pretty handy. And my other tip is basically just to experiment with this. Experiment with different adhesives, experiment with different ways to apply it. And when I make my next video, you will have lots of inspiration to give you some ideas of where to start. So thanks for joining in. You can get more ideas and inspiration on my blog at scrappingstampingandstuff.com. If you would like to order some gilded leafing yourself, you'll be able to order through my website beginning on January 5th. Current demonstrators or anyone who signs up can pre-order now. If you have questions about that, please let me know. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again next time.